Question overview. Welcome to the channel. Please consider subscribing. I produce videos daily covering a wide variety of cloud topics with focus on networking. This question tests your understanding of hybrid connectivity requirements for accessing Google APIs from on-premises infrastructure. It's a critical topic for enterprises maintaining their own data centers while leveraging Google Cloud services. The key here is the negative framing. We're looking for what is not a requirement. This means 3 options are actual requirements, and 1 is either optional or incorrect. Understanding Google's private Google Access and the 2 API endpoint options, private.googleapps.com and restricted.googleapps.com, is crucial for answering this correctly. Let's analyze each option. Understanding the architecture. Before diving into the options, let's understand what we're building. We have on-premises infrastructure that needs to access Google APIs and services securely over a private connection. Google provides 2 special DNS domains for private API access, private.googleapps.com and restricted.googleapps.com. Both resolve to IP ranges that are only routable over private connections, VPN or interconnect, not the public internet. The key difference is that restricted.googleapps.com uses IP ranges that are less likely to conflict with your on-premises networks. It's Google's newer, recommended approach for most hybrid scenarios. Now, do you need routes to both, or just one? That's what this question is really asking. Option 1. Hybrid connectivity. The first option states you need either Cloud VPN or Cloud Interconnect for hybrid connectivity. This is absolutely a requirement. You can't access Google APIs privately from on-premises without one of these. Cloud VPN creates encrypted tunnels over the public internet, while Cloud Interconnect provides dedicated physical connections. Both enable private connectivity between your data center and Google Cloud. Without either VPN or interconnect, your on-premises hosts would have to access Google APIs over the public internet, which defeats the purpose of private access and may not even be allowed in your security policies. This is definitely a requirement, not our answer. Option 2. Enable APIs in console. Option 2 mentions enabling the Google APIs you need via the APIs and services page in the console. This is a fundamental requirement that many people forget. In Google Cloud, most APIs are disabled by default for security and billing reasons. You must explicitly enable each API your project needs, whether accessing from Compute Engine or on-premises. For example, if your on-premises application needs to write to cloud storage, you must enable the Cloud Storage API. If it needs to publish to pub, sub, you must enable the pub, sub API. This is absolutely required. Without enabling APIs, your requests will fail with permission errors. So this isn't our answer either. Option 3. Routes for both endpoints. Now we're getting to the interesting part. Option 3 says you need routes for both private.googleapps.com and restricted.googleapps.com IP ranges. Let's think about this carefully. In practice, you choose either private.googleapps.com or restricted.googleapps.com, not both. They serve the same purpose, providing private access to Google APIs. Using both simultaneously would be redundant and unnecessarily complex. Most organizations pick one based on their IP addressing scheme. If 199.36.153.8/30, private.googleapps.com, conflicts with your network, you'd use restricted.googleapps.com instead. Requiring routes to both is incorrect. This looks like our answer. But let's check the last option to be sure. Option 4. Routes for either endpoint. Option 4 correctly states you need routes for either private.googleapps.com or restricted.googleapps.com. This is exactly right. When setting up private Google access from on-premises, you configure your routing to send traffic for Google APIs to one of these endpoints through your VPN or interconnect connection. The choice between them is based on your network design. Both provide the same functionality, private access to Google APIs. You just pick the one that works best with your IP addressing scheme. This is definitely a requirement. You must have routes to at least one of these endpoints for private API access to work. Private versus restricted endpoints. Let me explain the technical differences between these endpoints in detail. This is crucial for making the right architectural decisions. Private.googleapis.com resolves to 199.36.153.8/30, a very small range that might overlap with existing allocations in older networks. It was Google's first solution for private API access. Restricted.googleapis.com resolves to 199.36.153.4/30, Google's newer recommendation. The slightly different range is less likely to conflict, and Google considers this the best practice for new deployments. Both endpoints support the same APIs and provide identical functionality. The only difference is the IP addresses they resolve to. You never need both. That would be like having two front doors to the same house. Complete architecture overview. Looking at the complete architecture diagram, you can see how all the pieces fit together. Your on-premises applications communicate through either VPN or interconnect to reach Google APIs privately. The diagram shows both endpoint options, but remember, you only implement one path, not both. Most modern deployments use restricted.googleapis.com. Notice how the traffic never touches the public internet. This is the key benefit of private Google access. Your sensitive data remains on private networks throughout its journey. The architecture also shows that regardless of which endpoint you choose, you still access the same Google APIs and services. The endpoint is just the entry point. Implementation best practices. Let me share the implementation steps and best practices from real-world deployments. These commands show how to configure everything correctly. First, you establish your hybrid connectivity, either VPN or interconnect. Then you configure DNS to resolve Google API calls to your chosen private endpoint. The key is configuring your on-premises DNS servers to return the private IP addresses for *googleapis.com. This ensures all API calls are routed through your private connection. Finally, you add static routes on your on-premises routers to send traffic for your chosen IP range, either 199.36.153.8/30 or 199.36.153.4/30, through the VPN or interconnect. You never configure both. Summary and key takeaways. To summarize, the not required option is number 3. You don't need routes for both endpoints. You choose either private.googleapis.com or restricted.googleapis.com, never both. The 3 actual requirements are hybrid connectivity, VPN or interconnect, enabling APIs in the console, and routes for one of the private endpoints. Remember, restricted.googleapis.com is Google's current recommendation for new deployments. It provides the same functionality as private.googleapis.com but with less chance of IP conflicts. When designing hybrid architectures, always consider your existing IP allocations and choose the endpoint that best fits your network design. And remember, one endpoint is sufficient. Thank you for your attendance. Please consider subscribing to the channel to get notified of new videos.